Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pam and today's video is going to be a recent reads video. Hi, so it's been a while, obviously. Yeah, life is just crazy and sometimes it gets to you and that's what happened to me. So I recently started school again. I'm doing my master's, if you didn't know, and so it takes a lot of my time, even though I'm doing it part-time, but I'm still working full-time. So it's really crazy. Yeah, I just need to adjust and to manage my time better. That's what I need to do. But yeah, so yeah. And so basically I didn't do any July or August wrap up, and we are at the end of September. So I'm just going to do a recent reads. So basically all the books that I've read in July, August, and in September. Biggest reading slump ever. Yeah, it's not great. It's not a good time. And the summer was not a good time either for like reading. Anyway, it's life. I don't feel bad. I just I'm sad. But I'm going to get through it and I'm gonna survive. So in the month of July, August, and September, I read 13 books. So in 3 months, I read 13 books. And I'm currently in the middle of 3. Anyway, I wanted to do this wrap up recent reads in a different way. So for my June wrap up, I did this thing of like presenting the books that I read differently than just like I read this one first and then second and third and yada yada. And now I want to do the same. So I am going to talk about the books by the amount of time it took me to read them, if that makes any sense. Last time I found like some stuff that were similar or were linking books together, but now I'm gonna go with like I read this book in 2 days and this one in like 20 days, and yeah, just gonna talk about it. And my rating, of course. So let's start with the first book. The first book that I want to talk about is a book that I read in 2 days. And I gave it 2 stars, which is, yeah, it's weird, but anyway. And that book is I'd by Kirsten White. This was literally the book club pick for the month of July? No, June. And I didn't like it. I did not enjoy myself. I already like reviewed that book in a vlog that I did of reading like short books. The main thing that bothered me is that it was marketed as a adult horror thriller book, and it was really like a YA, somewhat thrilling, somewhat creepy book. So I think that the marketing was just wrong. And so I had stuff that I was anticipated, and I was expecting some stuff, thinking like, oh, this is like a horror adult book. And it wasn't, it didn't deliver as I would have liked. So I was disappointed, and I'm really sad about it because this book cost me $36 Canadian. And I'm like, and I didn't even like it. Anyway, 2 stars. Took me 2 days to read it because it's short, not because I was like enjoying myself. But yeah, so this is the first book. Then in 2 days again, I read All Systems Red by Martha Wells, and I gave this one a 4 out of 5 star. I quite enjoyed myself. I thought it was good. Not amazing, but it was good, and I really want to continue on with this series because I think it can get better and better with each book. And they're so short. They're novellas. I'm just intrigued by the main character and what his like next mission is gonna be, and yeah, I quite enjoyed myself. It was pretty short. Read it in 2 days. It was great. It was good. I don't know what else to say. Next, in 3 days, I read The Return of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And halfway through my reading, I realized that it was not the book I was supposed to read. So I was onto the memoirs of Sherlock Holmes. And then I was like, oh, it's not the right one, but I started it. I'm just gonna continue on. Anyway, Sherlock Holmes is like a bunch of stories, you know, like detective mystery stories. So I was like, anyway, it's gonna be fine. I give this one a 5 out of 5 star. It was amazing. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I love a lot of the stories in this. I love Sherlock Holmes. I love Watson. They're such a good duo. And these are just great mystery classic that are easy to read and to understand. Maybe the audiobook is the reason why I love these books so much, because I listened to the audiobook of Sherlock Holmes, obviously, on Audible, and is narrated by Stephen Fry, and he's like super good. Okay, he's really, really good. Such a good narrator, and yeah, maybe that's why I love these books so much, but it was still great. I love the content too, you know. The stories are really great and the characters are really great, obviously. So, yeah, 5 out of 5 star, 3 days. Also in 3 days, I read What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. And this one I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. This was the Literally Dead Book Club pick for the month of August. Read it pretty quickly, but you know, it's really short. I quite enjoyed this. I also read The House of the Ushers. I think that's what it's called. It's the story that this story is inspired by. My cat is always playing when I'm filming. God. Anyway, it was creepy. It was disgusting. It was a good horror book. I quite enjoyed it. It was just the right amount of pages. It was just, the length was really great. It was really, really atmospheric, and that's what I like the most about this. And yeah, the cover is disgusting and makes total sense with the story. That's all I'm gonna say. Quite enjoyed it. I'm really excited to read more T. Kingfisher. But yeah, I quite enjoyed this. Next, in 3 days again, I read Red Clocks by Lenny Zumas. And this one I gave also a 4 out of 5 star. I quite enjoyed it. It was a hard topic to read, especially when I read it. It was a week or two after Roe v. Wade was overturned. And this is about exactly that, Roe v. Wade being overturned, and how it impacted the women in the United States. And so it was really hard to read at times, but it was a weird book. I want to say it was weirdly written and weirdly told, but I enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it. I love weird books that I just don't know what is really going on, and I just, yeah, I just enjoyed myself. I really, really enjoyed myself reading this book. So yeah, that's why it's a 4 out of 5 star. Next, in 5 days, I read You Are Not Alone by Gray Hendricks and Sarah Paquin. So this one I read in September, and I give this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I quite enjoyed myself, and I vlog my experience reading this book, kind of. The vlog that I'm talking about is not gonna be up before this video, so yeah. But basically, I'm trying to figure out if some authors are for me or not, reading the next book, knowing that I hated one of their books and loved the other one, or a bunch of others anyway. And yeah, I confirmed that I'm going to read Greer Hendricks and Sarah Paquin in the future, because I quite enjoyed this. It was good. It was thrilling. It was a big mystery, big reveals. I enjoyed it, and yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. Next, also in 5 days, I read Out by Natsuo Kirino. This one was a 5 out of 5 stars. It was absolutely amazing and unhinged and just crazy. And what a ride. I read, this is my second Japanese translated thriller mystery book, and the first one was Confessions. Loved Confessions, and I loved Out. So I am going to read more translated book, especially like Japanese thriller books, because I don't know, they're so unique and so different from any American Western kind of thriller books. Like they're so unique and so weird, but in a good way. I absolutely loved reading that book. It was so fun. It kept me on my toes. I was blown, and the ending is fucking crazy. And yeah, it was so good, so good. So I can't wait to read more Natsuo Kirino, because I loved that one. It was so good. If you have it on your TBR, please read it. So good. Next, in 6 days, I read The Rise and the Reign of the Mammals by Steve Brusatte. So this one I'm not rating because I don't rate my nonfiction. Yeah. Anyway, this book was amazing. I loved The Rise and the Fall of the Dinosaurs, which is his first book. And this one is on mammals, and it was super interesting and a really good companion follow-up of the dinosaurs, because you know the mammals are reigning. We are mammals. We are ruling the world, if you want to. And it's really interesting to see and to predict where mammals are going and what's gonna happen to them and what happened to like extinct mammals, you know, and why they were extinct. And it was so interesting. I loved it so much. I am going to read everything that Steve Brusatte is gonna come up with, because he knows his stuff and he knows how to vulgarize and just to make it more accessible for like the me non-scientific person, you know, like me. He's just really great at making me understand stuff that I wouldn't normally be able to understand if I read like a scientific paper on the mammals, you know. Anyway, it was really good. Really enjoyed it. Next, in 7 days, I read Wondersmith, The Calling of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is the second book in the Nevermore series, and I absolutely loved the first one, and this one was like the first one. 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. This is a great middle grade series. It's so good, and I feel like the books are gonna get better and better with time, and I just can't wait to read more of it. I love the characters. I love the world. I really am enjoying those books. They're so good and so fun. They're so fun. I love them. So this was so good. Then in 10 days, I read The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. I give this one a 4 out of 5 stars. It was really good. It was a good coming-of-age story. I loved the writing. It was really fun to read and really interesting. And I quite enjoyed the characters. I just felt like at some times it was a bit slow and was not going anywhere. So that's why it's a 4. But overall, it was a great book. I quite enjoyed it. And it's a really good coming of age story. And yeah, I think teenagers should read this. And yeah, it was good. I don't know what else to say. Then in 14 days, I read The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. So this was the last book that I had to read for my reading the 5 highest rated book on my TBR. I did a vlog of my experience. I'm gonna leave it at the eye if you want to check it out. It's a really long vlog. Yeah, I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I quite enjoyed it. I think it deserves its high rating. The Lord of the Rings is just like such a great story. And yes, the Two Towers was a bit slower and boring than the first one, but you know, it's like the middle of a book, you know, so it's normal that it's a bit slow, and it's like setting things up for like the big epic battle that's gonna happen in the third part of it. So it's totally normal. I understand it. I quite enjoyed it. And maybe the audiobook is why I love this book so much, because I listen to the audiobooks that are narrated by Andy Serkis, who's the actor who plays Gollum, and he was, you know, making Gollum's voice and making a bunch of other voices, and he's a really good narrator, and I quite enjoyed listening to it. So maybe that's why I loved it as much. I'm really, really excited for part 3, which is The Return of the King. But yeah, quite enjoyed this one. Also, in 14 days, I read The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. And this was also part of my vlog of, you know, reading books by authors that I've loved one book and hated the other, and finding out like if I'm gonna continue on with this author. And I will. I will continue on with Riley Sager. I thought it was it. You know, after Survive the Night, I thought I would not pick any Riley Sager books anymore, because Survive the Night was after. I'm losing my English. It was so bad. And this was literally the book club pick for the month of July, so I kind of was forced to read it, but I quite enjoyed it. I rated 4 out of 5 stars. So yeah, I liked it, which is not a popular opinion, let me tell you. But I love the mystery. I love the characters. I love the weirdness of it. I thought it was fun, and yeah, I was shocked, and I was just, yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And I am going to continue picking up Riley Sager's book. God. But yeah. Maybe, you know, Survive the Night was a fluke. Was just like a one-time thing. I still have 2 books to read from him. Home Before Dark and Lock Every Door. But I'm sure I'm gonna love them. I heard amazing things about them, you know. But anyway, this one was pretty good. Even though it took me kind of a while to read, you know, 2 weeks. But it was good. It was really good. I was just like so busy. So, yeah. And finally, the last book that took me the longest to read, which is 30 days, 1 month, is The Relentless Moon by Marie Robinette-Kowal. So this was a 5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. I loved it, even though I was in the biggest reading slump, even though it took me 30 days to finish this book. I loved it, and I can't wait to read the next one. There's a lot that is happening in this one, like a lot. And I can't wait for the next one. This is the 3rd book in the Lady Astronaut series, so I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to spoil it. But it was so good. Yeah. It took me 30 days, but I was just not feeling like reading, even though it was good, which is a weird feeling. And it contradicts itself, you know? I love the book, but I don't want to read. Yeah. Anyway, 5 out of 5 star. It was so good. So this is it, guys. These are all the books that I read in July, August, and September. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, next time you're gonna see me, I'm gonna do my October TBR, which I'm quite excited for. I don't know what I'm gonna do for my plans and stuff, so yeah, anyway. I'll see you in a next video. Bye!